Hello and welcome back to the show. Today, we are looking at a well-known name from the Tata Group, Tata Elxsi Limited.
That's right. Tata Elxsi is a leader in design and technology services, working across industries like automotive, media, communications and healthcare. They're headquartered in Bangalore and operate globally. They just released their results, so let's dive in.
Okay, so what period are we looking at and what kind of report is this?
We're looking at the audited financial results for the quarter and the full financial year ended March 31st, 2025. These results were approved by their board of directors on April 17, 2025. It's important to note these are the standalone results for Tata Elxsi Limited. The report indicates they don't have subsidiaries, associates or joint ventures as of the reporting date.
Got it. Standalone results. So, let's start with the headline numbers, revenue and profit. How did they do in the fourth quarter and for the full year?
Okay, let's break it down. For the quarter ended March 31st, 2025, that's Q4 FY25. Revenue from operations came in at 90,833.56 lakh rupees. This is almost flat compared to the 90,594.34 lakh rupees in the same quarter last year, Q4 FY24. However, it's a sequential dip from the 93,917.12 lakh rupees they reported in Q3 FY25.
Flat year over year but down quarter over quarter in Q4 revenue. What about the profit?
Profit after tax, or PAT, for Q4 FY25 was 17,241.85 lakh rupees. This is actually down from 19,693.44 lakh rupees in Q4 last year, and also down sequentially from 19,900.64 lakh rupees in Q3. So both revenue and profit saw a dip in the fourth quarter compared to last year and the previous quarter.
Okay, that's the quarterly picture. How does the full financial year look, FY25 compared to FY24?
For the full financial year ended March 31st, 2025, revenue from operations stood at 3,72,904.83 lakh rupees. That's up from 3,55,214.57 lakh rupees in the previous financial year, FY24. So decent annual growth in revenue.
And the full year profit?
The full year profit after tax for FY25 was 78,493.68 lakh rupees. Interestingly, this is slightly down from the 79,223.79 lakh rupees they reported in FY24. So, for the full year, revenue is up, but the profit is marginally down.
Right, so a bit of pressure on profitability for the full year despite revenue growth and a weaker Q4 performance. What about EBITDA? Is that mentioned? Or can we figure out a proxy?
The report doesn't explicitly state EBITDA. However, we can calculate a proxy by taking profit before tax or PBT and adding back finance costs and depreciation and amortization. For Q4 FY25, PBT was 22,144.85 lakh rupees. Adding back finance costs of 459.12 lakh and D&A of 2,468.80 lakh gives us an EBITDA proxy of roughly 25,072.77 lakh rupees. For the full year FY25, PBT was 1,02,840.40 lakh rupees. Adding finance costs of 1,898.14 lakh and D&A of 10,487.08 lakh, the full year EBITDA proxy comes to around 1,15,225.62 lakh rupees.
How does that EBITDA proxy compare year over year?
The Q4 FY25 EBITDA proxy of about 25,073 lakh rupees is lower than the Q4 FY24 proxy, which was around 29,496 lakh rupees. Similarly, the full year FY25 proxy of about 1,15,226 lakh rupees is slightly lower than the FY24 proxy of around 1,16,839 lakh rupees. This confirms the pressure on operational profitability.
And earnings per share, the EPS?
For the full year FY25, the basic EPS was 126.03 rupees, down slightly from 127.21 rupees in FY24. The diluted EPS was 126.01 rupees, also down slightly from 127.18 rupees last year. This aligns with the slight dip in the full-year net profit.
Okay. Any significant other income we should be aware of?
Yes, other income for the full year FY25 was quite significant at 17,931.15 lakh rupees, up considerably from 12,195.18 lakh rupees in FY24. This boost in other income helps support the overall total income figure. It mainly comes from interest and gains on financial assets.
Okay, let's look at profitability margins then. How do they look?
For the full year FY25, the net profit margin PAT divided by revenue was about 21.05%, which is slightly lower than the 22.30% in FY24. The EBITDA proxy margin for FY25 was around 30.90%, down from about 32.89% in FY24. So margins have contracted slightly year over year.
Were there any exceptional items reported that might be influencing these numbers?
No, the financial statements don't show any line items explicitly labeled as exceptional items for either the quarter or the full year. This suggests the results reflect the regular business operations.
Good to know. Shifting gears to the balance sheet, any significant changes in assets or liabilities as of March 31, 2025 compared to the previous year?
Looking at the standalone balance sheet, a few things stand out. Total equity has increased nicely to 2,85,996.89 lakh rupees from 2,50,565.63 lakh rupees, driven by retained earnings. On the asset side, cash and cash equivalents are relatively stable at 13,527.67 lakh rupees. However, bank balances other than cash and cash equivalents have jumped significantly to 1,47,111.67 lakh rupees from 1,25,922.80 lakh rupees. This suggests a strong liquid position. Also, financial assets under investments have grown substantially. Total assets increased to 3,58,571.76 lakh rupees from 3,18,698.16 lakh rupees.
What about liabilities? Any major changes there?
Total liabilities are relatively low compared to assets. Total non-current liabilities decreased slightly, mainly due to a reduction in lease liabilities. Current liabilities increased, with trade payables showing a noticeable rise to 12,300.92 lakh rupees, combining MSME and other creditors from around 8,563.90 lakh rupees. Overall, the balance sheet looks healthy with strong equity growth and significant liquid assets.
Let's talk cash flow for the full year FY25. What were the main movements?
The audited statement of cash flow shows net cash generated from operating activities was strong at 81,197.69 lakh rupees, up from 70,123.33 lakh rupees last year. This is positive, showing improved cash generation from core operations despite the profit dip.
What about investing and financing activities?
Investing activities saw a net cash outflow of 30,828.12 lakh rupees. This was dominated by large investments in bank deposits. 2,74,460 lakh rupees went out, while 2,37,050 lakh rupees came in from maturity redemption. They also spent about 1,634 lakh rupees on acquiring property, plant, and equipment. Financing activities saw a net cash outflow of 49,859.48 lakh rupees, primarily due to the dividend paid during the year, which amounted to 43,593.51 lakh rupees. Repayment of lease liabilities also contributed to the outflow.
And speaking of dividends, did the board recommend one for this year?
Yes, they did. The board has recommended a final dividend of 75 rupees per equity share of 10 rupees each for the financial year 2024-25. This is subject to shareholder approval at the upcoming 36th annual general meeting.
Okay, 75 rupees per share recommended. Now Tata Elxsi operates in different segments. How did they perform?
They report two main segments. 1. Software development and services, and 2. System integration and support services. The software development segment is by far the larger one. For the full year FY25, it generated revenue of 3,62,329.70 lakh rupees and the segment profit before tax and interest of 1,27,776.64 lakh rupees. The system integration segment is much smaller, with revenue of 10,575.13 lakh rupees and a profit of 1,638.26 lakh rupees for the year.
So clearly, software development is the main engine here. How did the segment performance compare year over year?
Software development revenue grew from 3,45,625.73 lakh rupees in FY24 and its profit was almost flat compared to 1,27,733.57 lakh rupees last year. System integration revenue also grew from 9,588.84 lakh rupees, but its profit decreased from 2,452.16 lakh rupees in FY24. So the growth is coming from software development, but profitability in that main segment was flat year over year on a pre-tax pre-interest basis.
Interesting. So summing up the performance, annual revenue growth driven by software, but profitability faced some pressure, especially visible in Q4. Any specific reasons highlighted for this?
The report doesn't explicitly state reasons in the notes section provided, but common factors in the tech services industry could include wage inflation. Employee benefit expense is the largest cost item and did increase year over year, changes in project mix, or pricing pressures. The sequential dip in Q4 might also indicate some slowdown or project completions impacting revenue recognition.
Now, crucial part, the auditor's report. Who audited these results, and what was their opinion?
The auditors are BSR and Company, LLP, Chartered Accountants. They have issued an unmodified opinion on these standalone annual financial results for the year ended March 31st, 2025.
Unmodified opinion. That means a clean report, right?
Exactly. An unmodified opinion means the auditors found that the financial statements give a true and fair view in accordance with the applicable accounting standards, Ind AS in this case, and comply with the requirements. They didn't highlight any qualifications, adverse opinions, or emphasis of matter paragraphs, which is a positive sign regarding the reliability of the reported numbers.
That's reassuring. So considering everything, the performance, the segments, the clean audit, what's the outlook?
Disclaimer: as always, listeners should consult with certified financial advisors before making any investment decisions. Tata Elxsi showed resilience with decent annual revenue growth driven by its core software services segment. While profitability faced some headwinds year over year and Q4 showed a dip, the overall margins remain healthy. The strong balance sheet, good cash generation from operations, and the substantial dividend recommendation are positives. The unmodified auditor's opinion adds confidence. The key challenge will be navigating potential global slowdowns affecting tech spending and managing costs effectively to maintain or improve margins. Their focus on high-growth areas like automotive and healthcare technology should provide opportunities.
Great summary. So the key takeaways are steady annual revenue growth but slightly lower annual profit, a noticeable dip in Q4 performance, strong contribution from the software development segment, a healthy dividend recommendation, and importantly, a clean audit report.
Precisely. A solid year overall, despite some margin pressure and a softer end to the year, underscored by strong financials and a positive auditor assessment.
Excellent analysis. Thanks for breaking that down for us. And thanks to our listeners for tuning in. We'll be back soon with more financial insights.